All right. Time. There has never been a more exciting time to be part of the specialty coffee community. We're seeing changes with all aspects of coffee, from varieties to processing, roasting to quality control, even brewing methods and technique. But all of this begs the question, what is the role of the barista in this ever-progressing world? For me, the answer comes down to these three pillars: innovation, refinement, and adaptation. Exploring innovations, refining our skills, and adapting to advancements. I believe this is the key to driving our amazing industry forward. Now, our time today is heavily influenced by these three words. They're deeply woven into every decision I've made and every drink I'll serve, and I can't wait to show you how. So let's get started with some espressos. And judges, if you could write these tasting notes down, please. Of red cherry, blood orange, and yellow peach. It's going to have a medium weight, a juicy texture, and a lingering, rich finish. Today I'm using a recipe of 20 in, 45 out, in 30 seconds. Now, as a barista, innovations make our lives easier. But we all know easier doesn't always equal better. So over the last few months, I've been sifting through the ever-growing range of tools to determine what works best. And these are the innovations that I've decided to use. The first is the Weiss distribution technique. I found this gave me the best possible distribution, leaving my coffee as even as possible, from top to bottom. And today, I've decided to use the autocomb to achieve this. Now, this is a refinement of the traditional method, and it works by using a geared handle with a set of 13 needles that gently distribute the coffee around. And by adapting to this method, not only has it made it faster, more efficient, but leaves me with a tastier cup of coffee. Now, after finding the perfect distribution method, I explored the impacts of collapsing, and after hours of experimentation and refinement, I found by gently vibrating my handles, this gave me the best result. Now, when we tamp, we only apply vertical pressure, so the pucks might look even, but the densities could differ. However, by applying 50 hertz of vibration, I'm gently dispersing the coffee particles, vertically and horizontally, filling any voids that still may be present. Judges, as you can see, it leaves me with a flat bed of coffee before I tamp. And by adapting to these methods, not only do I achieve higher extraction yields, a more balanced espresso, but it contributes to that juicy texture you're about to experience. Now, progression is all around us, and the coffee itself is no exception. So today, I'm going to be serving you a fascinating new varietal called Obligon. Now, the exact origins of this varietal are unclear. However, it is thought to be found in an abandoned research centre in Wheeler a number of years ago. The producer of this coffee, Nestalasso, explored this new varietal and planted this coffee with unknown results. And this varietal is thought to be a mutation of Gatura and takes its name from its interesting shape, belly button in Spanish. Now, just like barista, the role of the producer is to innovate, refine, and adapt. And that's exactly what Nestor did. On his farm, El Diviso, in Wheeler, Colombia, at 1,700 metres above sea level, he decided to produce this coffee as a natural. And Nestor is constantly innovating, and this is a perfect example. He placed the cherries in polypropylene bioreactors for 72 hours to ferment with musto and Saccharomyces yeast. And this resulted in a very unique flavour profile. Now, judges, if you could please assess the crema, but just hold off drinking just for a second. Now, the process didn't stop there, because Nestor is constantly refining his technique. Once the coffee came out of the bioreactors, he placed it in open plastic bags for 60 hours to oxidise. This resulted in more flavour intensity and texture. And by adapting the Saccharomyces yeast from the wine industry, he was able to achieve more flavour clarity, directly translating to that cherry in your espresso today. So judges, when you're ready, please stir your espresso 10 times. Please take 3 sips, and that silver tin is for your dirty spoon. Please enjoy. All right, judges, when you're ready, I'll get you to write these flavour notes down for the milk course. Of boysenberry ice cream and malted chocolate. And if you're unfamiliar with boysenberry, it's a hybrid across raspberry and blackberry. Now, over the last few years, we've been seeing lots of innovations in the milk course, from cryodesiccation to freeze distillation. Now, these two methods have produced some of the best milk coffees I've ever tried. And it's a perfect example of the role of the barista in this ever-progressing world. However, over the last 12 months, I've been looking at ways to refine these methods, a way to remove just water from milk, leaving all the important minerals behind. And I've found a method that does just that, vacuum distillation. Now, this is the process of applying a gentle heat to frozen milk under vacuum pressure to remove some of the water content. This allows the water to turn to a vapour at temperatures as low as 20 degrees, preserving the flavours of the milk that we would have lost if we applied more heat. And by adapting to this method, it allowed me to have complete control of the amount of water I took out. In this case, 33%. This left me with a balanced milk and a rich and creamy texture. Now, today I'm using a recipe of 22 in, 35 out in 28 seconds. And I've decided to use full cream cow's milk because I found it best articulated my coffee's flavour. Now, with the refined milk, I needed a refined roast. So my roaster and I used modern innovations such as roasting software to meticulously control every variable we could. We slowed down the drum speed to 50 RPM to maintain a rich sweetness. 7 heat adjustments to articulate the acid, and minute airflow adjustments to maintain a steady declining rate of rise. And finally, a 2-minute and 20-second development time for flavour intensity to cut through this rich and creamy milk. And judges, please enjoy, and I'll be back with you in just a minute. Just enjoy. Okay, judges, now for the signature course. The role of the barista is to innovate, like the use of the vibrating table and vacuum distillation. The role of the barista is to refine, like the use of the autocone. And the role of the barista is to adapt to all of these advancements. But to push our industry forward, it's up to all of us to use these pillars, just like Nestor did, producing this amazing obligon. And just like my roaster did, crafting the perfect roast. We're all part of the same community that work together to produce the final product. And by doing so, hopefully we inspire the next generation of coffee professionals to do the same. So my concept for this course is to take the inspiration I've received from innovating, refining, and adapting as a barista, as well as from my producer and roaster. So, starting with the producer. I've taken inspiration from Nestor's innovative approach to fermentation and his ability to control flavours with yeast and bacteria. But today, rather than using Saccharomyces yeast, I'm going to be using lactobacillus bacteria to highlight the tropical notes in this course. So for this ingredient, I'm adding 10 ml of a lacto-fermented raspberry. And to create this, I've got 100 grams of raspberries. And I've adapted the environment in this jar to produce just lactobacillus bacteria to grow by adding 2% salt. I then store this for 4 days at 23 degrees Celsius, where the lactobacillus bacteria converts the sugar to lactic acid. Now, I chose raspberries because it works perfectly with these tropical notes to give us a new flavour in this course of guava. And now for the roaster. I've taken inspiration from our roaster's ability to refine his roasting profiles to new varieties, such as the obligor. So for this ingredient, I'm adding 10 ml of a clarified milk solution. And to create this, I've got 100 ml of the milk concentrate I used in your milk course. And I'm refining this ingredient by adding 5 ml of a citric acid solution, 1 part citric acid to 100 parts water. I then place it on the vibrating table over there to help me separate it into curds and whey. I then pass this through a paper filter. And by adding this to the drink, it works perfectly with these boysenberry notes we had in your milk course to give us a new flavour of toffee apple. And finally, the Barista. I've taken inspiration from vacuum distillation, and I've taken this innovation and I've adapted it to this ingredient. So for this, I'm adding 10 ml of a vacuum boiled bergamot tea. To create this, I've got 100 ml of room temperature water, 10 grams of a bergamot tea. I then place this in a vacuum chamber at 500 mTOR for 20 minutes. But rather than freeze the tea like I did with the milk, I left it as a liquid, allowing it to boil at 20 degrees Celsius. Now I chose tea because it works perfectly with the cherry in this espresso to give us a new flavour of dried apricot in this course. And finally, the most important ingredient, the espresso. An ingredient that we all played a part in creating. So today, I'm adding 4 espressos of the obligor, extracted to the same numbers as your espresso course. I'm serving it at 10 degrees for flavour clarity. And by placing it in this blender, it helps create a tighter foam structure. Now judges, those tasting notes again, if you would like to write these down, of guava, toffee apple, and dried apricot. Now please ask that you wait until I call time to assess this drink. Please take 3 sips and swirl before every sip. Thank you. Now judges, the specialty coffee industry is full of innovation, refinement and adaptation. We are constantly seeing new ideas and coffee reaching new heights. The very best baristas are able to refine and adapt these new ideas to push the industry forward and to inspire others. And just as this competition has inspired me to innovate, refine and adapt, I hope I have inspired someone else to do the same. Thank you so much. Please enjoy. Time.